Hi, we're the Charlites, and you're watching the Valley Gold Show.
Coming one night only, Wednesday, May 1st, to the Dior Performing Arts Center in downtown Youngstown, it's the Dionne Warwick-Lou Rawls Tribute Concert. A dazzling concert of the timeless hits by Dionne Warwick and Lou Rawls, performed live by Debórah Benton and Leonard Julian with the Walt Barnes Jr. Band. Tickets on sale now at the Dior box office. One night only, the Dionne Warwick-Lou Rawls Tribute Concert. One night only.
It's time to sit down with someone you know. Hear the stories that remind you of, well, just how great you really are. It's time for the Valley Gold Show with yours truly, Debórah Benton. So take off your hard hat, leave your steel toes at the door as we go for the gold with two men who've enjoyed one of the longest running careers in R&B history, selling over 70 million records, celebrating over 25 hits, receiving Grammys, and a world-class appreciation that most artists only read about. They started off cool, and 35 years later, as their newly released CD proclaims, they are still cool. My guests today are none other than Youngstown, Ohio hometown heroes, Kool and Ronald Khalis Bell of Kool and the Gang.
Coming one night only, Wednesday, May 1st, to the Dior Performing Arts Center in downtown Youngstown, it's the Dionne Warwick-Lou Rawls Tribute Concert. A dazzling concert of the timeless hits by Dionne Warwick and Lou Rawls, performed live by Debórah Benton and Leonard Julian with the Walt Barnes Jr. Band. Tickets on sale now at the Dior box office. One night only, the Dionne Warwick-Lou Rawls Tribute Concert. One night only.
Welcome to the Valley Gold Show.
Wow, thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
And I'm so glad to have you as my guest. I know you all tour all over the world on a regular basis. How many days out of the year do you tour?
Well, I think we're close to about 100 shows.
100 shows a year. Yeah. That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, a lot of territory. They call us the Globetrotters.
of the music industry.
Oh, yeah, we're moving all over the place.
Yeah, I think you've earned that title.
Yeah.
So well, have you picked up any foreign languages you've been traveling so much?
Let's see here. Buongiorno. That's Italian, I think. A couple other ones.
What about you?
Bon appetit.
Yeah, a little French.
A little French, yeah.
A little bit.
Let's see what they got. Ohio. Japanese. Ohio Salmon. That'll work. But it's always great to come back to White Town, you know.
Yeah, everybody's really, really proud of you. They like to claim hold of Kool and the Gang. So growing up here in Youngstown, I imagine you had a very nurturing family because, you know, you all are so family oriented.
Oh yeah, for sure. Our grandmother, you know, may she rest in peace. She was the glue that kept us together, you know.
How many was it?
Well, all grandchildren, there must have been about 12 or 13.
Yeah, at least.
And then how many in your immediate family?
And well, we have 6, you know,
6.
5 boys. My mother, 5 boys and 1 girl. But then we have cousins and cousins and
cousins.
I mean, more cousins.
Very large extended family.
Yeah.
Did you all always surround yourselves with music? Was that always a part of your life?
Well, actually for me now, here in Youngstown, I thought I was going to be a mechanic. I built my first motorbike. I used to take a bicycle frame with a wooden platform on it, and I would get a lawnmower motor and sit it on the platform of the bicycle frame and create a motorbike.
Oh my goodness, was it safe?
Well, you know, my grandmother used to say, you know, I should wear out them shoes because I couldn't.
You didn't have brakes, huh?
Yeah, I used to slow the carburetor out a little bit, and and then I just put my feet out and drag a little bit, you know. But I mean, I was all over the north side, south side. Used to come down through here, each side.
Yeah.
So, but you ended up playing the guitar. Was it lead guitar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar.
Bass guitar.
And you play the horn, saxophone.
Saxophone. Yeah.
So, did you take formal lessons, or was it just something that was innate?
No. After the whole motorbike thing, you know, Khalis and I, we used to get these cans from the
paint factory. There was a paint factory just not too far from here.
Yeah.
And we used to go up there and take the paint cans because we couldn't afford bongos, you know.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
so we used to
goodness.
tape them together. We used to sit up there and play bongos or pretend we was playing something.
So about how old were you when you were playing on paint cans?
About
We had to be
7, 8.
7 or 8. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
that.
Depending on how much paint was in the bottom of the can, with the
the
tone
kind of
that
sound
you
you
got.
got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
the
Yeah.
water-based paint.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've never heard of anybody using paint cans before.
Yeah, we used to sit right over at the Immaculate High School.
Yeah, Immaculate High
Grammar
School,
elementary school.
on Oak
actually.
Street.
Uh-huh.
and play bongos.
Yeah.
Oh
Or
my goodness.
pretend to play.
Because the Immaculate sit up on the hill.
Right.
And then it was down on what, Penn Street and that area there. So when you
Penn
hit
Avenue.
the can, Penn Avenue, it echoed like through the valleys. You
Oh
know,
my
gave it like a
goodness.
nice little echo. It was like,
Right
it was
over the Oak
amplified.
Street Bridge, you know, there with the
Yeah.
the
So
trains.
you didn't have an accident off of the motorbike that took you away from that and into the
No,
music?
I just slowly got away from it, you know, and started got interested in beating the paint can.
So
Once
did
I moved-
somebody finally say, let's get these boys some drums?
That didn't happen until we moved to Jersey.
Yeah, until we
City.
moved to Jersey
How
City.
old were you when you moved to Jersey?
I
Well, we
was
used to
only 10 years
visit.
old.
We used to visit.
Okay.
Come back, yeah. We left Youngstown in 1960
Okay.
Yeah.
in the back of a Chevy. Everything we owned was in the back of the Chevy.
Yeah.
In the east, to stay with our relatives on my mother's side of the family in New York area and Jersey City area.
Okay.
That's when we went from the paint cans to the bongos.
Yeah.
And
To
then
the real bongos.
Yeah, to the real bongos, yeah.
Okay. So who's the most rhythmic between the two?
I don't know. Yeah, everybody has a body rhythm. I would say is equal. You know, somebody's beat is before or after the other.
Any singers in the group?
In the family?
In the family?
Or in the family as well as between the two of you?
Oh, I don't. I holler and he.
Yeah, no, not really. You know, we do a little background.
We don't
said you
really,
all
we
know
don't
the
really
musician
sing.
thing, you know.
Okay.
Play the bass guitar, of course, and
Yeah.
at least plays a little bit of everything: bass, drums, keyboards, you know.
So tell us how you eventually evolved to form the group Kool and the Gang. Now I know you had some other names before you settled on Kool and the Gang, but even just coming together with a formal group, how did that all start?
Well, when we came out of Youngstown and moved to Jersey City, I think it was Khalis met some Robin Mickens, Spike, and
Yeah.
Spike's brother Butch, and DT, and I think the first group was the Sound.
5
The
Sounds.
5 Sounds.
Okay.
Yeah. My uncle Odie, his name's Odie Bell. He used to play the vibra harp, and my
Okay.
father used to play the drums. He's a professional boxer, but he used to play the drums. Or at least he used to take drum lessons, and used to train with Miles Davis. So there was music around the house. My grandmother played guitar, piano. Aunt Hunt played the
Okay.
piano. She showed me how to play the piano
That's
when I
right.
was 5. Actually, my Aunt Hunt, yeah, and cousin Narby.
So you had a lot of musical influence just right there in your family.
Well, yeah, but not a lot until later. I think it's genetic because Betty Wright is also in our family as
Oh,
well.
Yeah, that's cousin.
Yeah.
So now you've started with the five
Sound.
the 5 Sounds.
Mhm.
And that was that the same group of people and you just changed the name, or did you also transfer in and out in terms of people?
Well, it was the same group of people, and then it started to expand, you know,
Yeah.
to, new members. 5 Sounds, and then it was the Jazzy Acts, then it was the Soul Town Band,
Okay.
New Dimension.
New Dimensions, Kool and the Flames,
Uh-huh. That's the name I
Kool the Gang.
remember.
and then finally Kool and the Gang in '68 came out with our first record in 1969.
And the first record was.
Kool and the Gang.
That's
by
right.
Kool and the Gang.
So how did you get the name Kool?
Well, gotta go back to coming out of Youngstown.
That's
again.
okay.
Coming out of
Good
White
base.
Town, moved to Jersey City,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed that everyone in the neighborhood had a nickname. And I tried to fit into what was going on. It was like Slice and Hook and this and that. And it was this guy, you know, he called himself Kool, but he spelled it with a C.
Okay.
I said, hey, that's an interesting name. Maybe I can fit in. And I spelled my name, and I took the name Kool and spelled it with a K. Now, what happened was when I first came to Jersey City, my mother sent me to the store to get a loaf of bread. At that time, it was only 25 cents loose leaf bread. I got surrounded by these guys. They took my money. I said, well, this is what I got to deal with. The old country coming from Youngstown, dealing surrounded with New York, and Jersey City. So I had to kind of get into the street a little bit. and came up with the name Kool. I found out what they were doing. I said, oh, okay, this is how the program is. But that's how I got the name Kool. You know?
You know, the thing that I think is interesting when I listen to your music, when I observe your personalities, and I know some of your family members, I think that name could apply to a lot of you because you all seem to have that laid
the
back,
bells.
cool.
Yeah, Uncle Sammy, Uncle George, even
Just
the
your
Dell.
microphone.
Yeah, everybody's cool with the game.
Yeah,
The
everybody
Bell
is cool in the family.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from Kool and Khalis, Kool and the Gang. Right back on the Valley Gold Show after this.
Hi, this is Minister Evans of the Temptations, and you're watching the Valley Gold Show.
And we're back on the Valley Gold Show, and I have the esteemed privilege of having Kool and Khalis Bell from Kool and the Gang. We were just talking about how you grew up, how you were born and reared for a short portion of your life in Youngstown, Ohio, and you migrated with your family members to Jersey, and you developed these names. So you were Kool. Did you develop a name?
Well, I tried, but see, I was more the one, while he's running around the streets with the motorbike, I was pretty much helping Grandma do the garden and stuff.
Okay, the responsible one.
Well, no, not necessarily. I just got caught. He was faster than I was. So I was the last one out the door. So usually the last one out the door, I got to do the
now
chore.
you guys are 11 months apart.
11 months.
And actually, you look very much the same age, which is a good thing because you're good looking.
Thank you.
But who was the writer in the group when you all started actually creating your own music? Talk about who came up with some of the tunes and how they were
Khalis
developed.
was the major writer.
Eventually, later on, I
yeah.
became. At first, we would all collaborate together.
Okay.
Like that first song, Kool and the Gang, we all collaborated on that. And we collaborated with our first producer, Gene Red. But then eventually, I kind of like started looking at the business a little bit more as to publishing and writing.
And
I
how old
started
were you
writing.
when you started looking at the business end of it?
Maybe 19, 20.
Really? That's pretty unusual in today's economy, especially, when a music group is on the rise, the teenagers usually are just into the stardom. And here you were having a mind for business. Can you explain what caught your eye about the business? Was there anything in particular?
Well, first thing, the name of the group, we were searching for all these names. And and instead of taking the ego side of it to say, it should be Ronald and the Gang. I'm doing all the work. But I'm not necessarily doing all the work, but, I was like the band leader. But for me, the name Kool and the Gang, it was more catchier than anything else we ever heard. And that side of it said, yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
So I just took to the more sort of studio side and behind the scenes.
So did you do mixing as well, or?
Yeah, I've done mixing. I've mixed a couple of those songs that we have: Jungle Boogie, Funky Stuff, Hollywood Swinging, Summer Madness, Open Sesame. Now, a lot of those songs.
These, as you say the names, the music is ringing in my head because we all came up on Kool and the Gang music. So, what is your favorite aspect of the music of doing the music?
Well, of doing the music,
or just
I think that
the organization.
you come up with an idea and
okay.
And that idea becomes a song. Like for instance, I was hanging out back in the latter part of the '70s, and at every club they had a ladies' night. So I came back to the guys. You know what? We should come. We gotta come up with this song called "Ladies' Night" because every Friday night or Saturday night or Sunday night, depending on the night, it was a ladies' night.
Oh yes, it's ladies' night.
So that's, and then George.
Don't try to make me sing that.
And the rest of the guys, we all got together, and George was one of the other key writers of the song, and we came up with the song "Ladies' Night." It was also a song called "Hanging Out."
Okay.
It was all on the "Ladies' Night" album.
That was his inspiration.
Yeah. So
that was his baby.
When you wrote a song, when you came up with a song, even through the collaboration process, did you ever arrive at that moment, even before it hit the airwaves, before it started being played? Did you ever have a moment where you knew this was it, this was a hit?
Oh, well, let's see. After the first tries, early on in our career, it was like that. Yeah, this is a hit. And then when it flopped, it wasn't. So you kind of like back up on that and try to get more, a little more sure. But when he came up with the idea of Ladies Night, I was in there trying to find something, you know, on the piano, and he walked in, he said, I got 2 things for you. He said, hanging out and Ladies Night. And he said, Ladies Night, a light went off in my head. I said, well, there's one of those everywhere on the planet. So what we got to do is write the right song to make that happen. Yeah.
So you knew actually before it hit the airwaves.
Ladies Night.
And then on some of the other ones, when you mentioned that you would try, what were those experiences like, and do you have any idea what you did
Yeah, there
wrong?
was one experience now. I mean, we seemed to work pretty good under pressure, you know, because back early 70s, going into 72, 73, after having songs that actually were top 5, but some of them #1 R&B hits, like Funky Man, Funky Granny, A Good Times, Music is the Message tracks. The record company, things slowed up, so the record company put pressure on it. So they brought this producer in and said, listen, you know, this guy's gonna help you guys write some hits again. And this guy, whatever his name is, he did Soul Makusa.
Oh, Soul Makusa, right, Mana de Bango, I think. They wanted us to re-record
that track. And we said, and we worked with this guy for about, what, 1 day or something?
Yeah.
We said,
One day.
He said, this is not
That's
happening.
not going to work.
So, I mean, so we went to a studio, I believe it's called Baggies.
Yeah.
And we just started jamming. And out of that day, that whole session came Jungle Boogie,
Oh my goodness.
Hollywood Swinging,
and funky.
and Funky Style.
Boy, what a jam session.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was on purpose. We're diehard jazz musicians still.
Okay.
We still love jazz. We grew up on jazz. But, you know, somehow every time you make a hit, they want another one. You know, I guess
So do you all do all of your own producing, or does the record company still inject somebody to produce with or for you?
well, now we do our own
Yeah.
producing.
Well, because we have our own label, you know.
So back to the jam sessions and coming up with, I've heard rather garish stories about artists, phenomenal artists, who the label, the record company, would inject a producer, and the producer would basically, if it wasn't a good fit, would basically kill their inspiration. Have you all had any experiences like that, or were you always in the position to say, no, we don't want to work with this person?
Well, fortunately, most of the producers, well, we haven't had that many, 2, I guess. They worked with us. Like our first producer, Gene Red, sort of nourished us through this whole thing, up to a certain point where we grew up and decided, you know, we can do this ourselves. And we did that. The second time was Amir Deodato, and he worked with us at the same time at a point where the company said, again, you know, you need another hit, or we need to fuel the
So have there
the
ever been
situation.
times where you all said you need some additional assistance?
Well, I've never felt that, but I guess, you know, collectively, yeah.
Well, I guess the suggestions, I guess, that was coming from the record company, because they are about making money, you know, said, okay, we'll take a look at that and see if that's all going to work, you know, what Amir did. And we had, 3 successful albums with Amir.
Yeah.
And then we went back to
3 or 4.
Khalis was doing the production again with Jim Bonaparte. Right after
Well,
that.
Jim was the engineer.
Jim was the
sort
engineer,
of
yeah.
decided they wouldn't trust us to do this by ourselves for other reasons, politically speaking, with the studio and all. So they allowed someone from the studio to be attached to the money, so to speak.
Yeah, you know, I have a saying, you live and learn,
Yeah.
and then you learn to live.
Okay.
So we found out with how to count the money.
Yeah.
Getting back to the business side of it, where it really breaks down to the royalties and what, you know, the company's getting, and what your time and effort that you put in. That's why we started on record label. You know?
When you saw all the money that was going out, that was coming off
We
of
just
the
getting a little
talent.
piece of the pie.
It was
They were
basically
giving them all the
extortion.
pie.
That's what it was. I guess.
So,
You know,
figured, you know.
a lot of artists are coming to that now, and one of the other things that I've been learning, even through the interview process of some of the guests that I've had, is often when artists such as yourselves, who've made so much money for the other labels or major labels, when you go independent, you run into political things like the radio stations won't play your songs, and you don't get some of the perks and benefits that you had gotten through the label. Can you speak to any of those issues, or what has the journey been like for you?
Well, the road gets a little tough when you're not dealing with a major, but we continue to knock on the door and find ways to do it, to get our product played. We're back now with a major, but on a different deal. We're partners now.
Okay.
It's not like we're the artists and we're getting the 12, 13, 14% artist royalty. We're partners, so that makes it a little easier. But we still got to do our job too.
Sure. Now, it's been what, 10 years since you had a release?
Yes.
Was any of that a deliberate waiting period, or was it this new CD, Still Kool? Was that something that was in the making for 10 years? Or?
Well, possibly making it in 10 years, but we put out other product before that.
Okay.
We tried other things, like we had some hip hop, not necessarily success in hip hop, but we produced other acts, or had an association with a lot of other acts, like the Fugees, like Pink, through Adele, my cousin, and
Color
Royal,
Me Bad.
and Color Me Bad, and acts like that. But I mean, I don't think, I always say that they never really wanted to see us do any hip hop.
They never wanted you.
Nah, not Kool in the Gang hip hop. They wanted Kool in the Gang to still be cool. So we decided to still be cool and just be cool.
But our first project was called Gangland.
Yeah.
Kool The Gang presents Gangland.
Yeah, that didn't fly.
Which had a lot of various, what Khalis talking about, various artists. And then we came up with another project out of our partners in London, a company called Unique Entertainment. They wanted to do a tribute to Kool The Gang, but we said we don't want to go back and just gather a lot of songs and make another compilation with so many of those out. So what we decided to do was re-record all the tracks over again, and then to bring in guest artists like Lauryn Hill, Lisa Stanfield, Sean
Redman.
Paul, Redman, Shantae.
Bunch of people on there.
It was Teddy Riley. It goes on and on. And that was called Hits Reloaded. And that came out about almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
But it still wasn't new material.
Now, was this independent or was this with the label?
This was our label doing
Okay,
joint
your
venture
label.
with Unique Entertainment. And then we finally, people was, okay, when are you going to do some all new material and all original material? And that's finally what is Still Kool.
We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we want to get a little bit more into your development as Kool and the Gang, the icon, the institution that you have become, and then we'll also discuss the particulars of this wonderful CD called Still Kool. Right back with Kool and the Gang on the Valley Gold Show after this. It's time to sit down with someone you know. Hear the stories that remind you of, well, just how great you really are. It's time for the Valley Gold Show with yours truly, Debórah Benton. So take off your hard hat, leave your steel toes at the door as we go for the gold with two men who've enjoyed one of the longest running careers in R&B history, selling over 70 million records, celebrating over 25 hits, receiving Grammys, and a world-class appreciation that most artists only read about. They started off cool, and 35 years later, as their newly released CD proclaims, they are still cool. My guests today are none other than Youngstown, Ohio hometown heroes, Kool and Ronald Khalis Bell of Kool and the Gang. Now we'll talk about this CD, Still Kool. I was sharing with my sound engineer earlier that this CD is so enrapturing and it's so generational. Again, it's got that consistent sound, that consistent something about it that identifies Kool and the Gang. But the songs on there, you did a few things. You know, you bring the funk, you've brought in the hip hop with it, but the nice thing about that is, even for the person, and this is my opinion, even for the person who may not be into hip hop music, you put in contemporary R&B and wove the hip hop in there in such a way that it melded so nice. I mean, I was just going down the list, listening to every piece and listening over and over again. So now I'll stop talking about the CD and listen to you talk about it.
I guess on the hip hop element, you're speaking about the song "Living in the 21."
Not just that one, because there's another one, but yes, absolutely, "Living in the 21," and there's a cut right before that one.
Give It Up.
No, it might be Trust Me.
Yes, that's
Trust
the one.
Me.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a flair of the
Yes,
hip hop,
yeah,
but it's just
right.
got this wonderful contemporary sound, and yet it's still classic Kool and the Gang. So what was the impetus behind this new CD, and just the whole collaboration and infusion of the different artists with the whole thing?
Wow, that's like almost 5 years in the making. I think going from one level to the next, trying to find the right combination. Actually, we recorded almost 3 albums, and we just chose those songs to be on there on that first release. So it took 5 years to do it, but the inspiration was, we need to make another record.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm still trying to debate on which is my favorite one, but Dave has me I love that song.
Well, Dave is the first single. Well, actually, it's the second single, because we put a tester out last year, "Stepping Into Love."
I love that one too.
Yeah, but our distribution wasn't in place yet. But now that it is, Dave is the first single now.
Dave, one of the things I noticed about Dave, okay, I'll use this example. "We Are the World" came out, which was something that people all over various countries were singing, and Dave has that same kind of aura about it, if you will. But the other thing that I thought was so remarkable about Dave is, okay, you've got We Are the World, and it's got all these different name artists singing on it, but Dave is a song that stands alone with just the lyrics and the music all by itself. It didn't need anything else. Just that was written off of a sci-fi movie or something?
Well, sort of. What it started out to be was the song was originally called, "Sad Situation," and I mean the world right now, everybody knows the condition of the planet right now. But that's not a good song title. Knowing from having success in different song titles, you need something not necessarily gimmicky. But the song was called "Sad Situation." It turned from "Sad Situation" to "Save Our Humanity." So it was like save our humanity.
Okay.
And then I said, oh, that's not going to work. It sounds too preachy. So I was looking at the Space Odyssey, 2001, and Dave and Hal, the machine, everybody's in digital danger now. The computer's going to knock everybody off. So I said, this will work. And I said, Dave, let's call it Dave, and turn it into something like that. And everybody say, well, make it real personal. Let's call it Dave. And
I'm sorry, the other thing, you mentioned "Sad Situation." That is such a happy sounding song.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't have been sad.
I mean, you talk about something that's pleasing to the ear. I mean, all the changes, everything about it. And I don't want to get too technical, but I'm telling you, I just love that song. Another one that just really, really gripped me. Oh, what was the name? Oh, "Someone Like You." Now that song, okay, you've got this man who's singing, and he's got he's singing this passionate love song from his heart. But what's interesting there as well is he doesn't sound like he's just straight singing. Like, he gets to the end of the lines and it's almost like he's talking, and it's a love song about real love.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And for real love and to real love. And he talks about choosing the right person and asking God's intervention and His help for that, and taking his vows and getting married on the beach, and you even mentions
pastries too, right?
What'd you
Buy
say?
her favorite pastries.
Yeah, and even mentions the reverend's name who's performing the vows. Okay, talk about how all of that came together.
Well, that's really a George Brown song. He's the one that wrote Too Hot and Jones versus Jones. So he's the guy that goes to
So he's the one that writes those kind of songs.
Yeah.
Oh, so what? I mean, it kind of makes me want to get married to my husband all over again.
Someone Like You, that's another great song.
Say that again?
Someone Like You.
Yeah, that's a wonderful song.
Yeah.
So what's you all's favorite songs on the piece, on the CD?
Favorite? I don't think my favorite reached the album because we were still working on it. But I would say it would be, I have a couple of favorites. Dave would be one of them because when it all played back after it was finished with my co-writer, you know, it made me shed a tear because of how it all came together. The other one was Everything's Gonna Change, and also the Marvin Gaye song, you know, What's Happening.
Yeah, What's Happening, Then for me, I would say also Miracles.
Okay. Yeah, that's another wonderful song.
It deals with the situation in Sudan, you know, and believing in miracles, that things can happen in your life and just staying positive.
Now that one, was that inspired initially from a car crash you had been in?
Oh, yeah, well, Adele and I were coming back from Europe, and we had a little, you know, it was raining, the car started spinning around, and we thought we were dead. We was checking our cell phones. This must be like, this must be. Anyway, let's see if we're gone yet. It was funny. You flicked the phone. Oh, we're not dead yet. It was like, but that was traumatic. It was traumatic. Just check the cell phone. Let's see, because we swore that was it for us. He said, so this must be it, because I don't see how we made out of that. But that was inspired to write a song about miracles. But what's even more a miracle is that those 3,000 children that came out of the Sudan, they faced the lions. The lions ate some of them, of course, but you know, they crossed the Sudan, and Gideon carried his baby brother on his back 3,000 miles.
Wow.
To get out of that the situation.
Yeah, we've had an opportunity to share with some of the Sudanese, and I'm so moved by when I listen to the lyrics of your songs. You know, you guys. You could write anything you want. You could publish anything you want. I mean, like you mentioned, you have such a strong fan base, and people love the sound of Kool the Gang. But you clearly have a great sense of responsibility to give a message and to make a real impact. One of the things that I thought about as I listened to the CD, I said, this CD, Still Kool, will make people listen, and the message is inescapable because the music is so addictive, you know. And as you mentioned, the Sudanese crisis, I'm happy to see people who look like us, who are stepping up to the plate and doing what you can to make a difference, because that whole situation is enough to make all of us weep.
Yeah, there's another miracles. There's the George wrote called Too Low for Zero. It was coming off the 9/11 thing about the conditions and where the world's at today, you know. I think he was inspired to write a song about what's going on
in America.
America's another one,
yeah.
The crossing, you know, Yoli saw light. She promised her child that she would give birth on the north of the line, and you know, and Eagle saw, you know, told man when he can't show to the shore. You know, well, I'm just speaking the lyrics, but yeah, America.
Right.
It's about all of us here.
Well, everybody
came here,
America,
coming to America.
Yeah. And the other thing, even the song you're talking about now, America. One of the things that I noticed there was you used your license well. Often we don't like to say a lot of the hard-hitting things, you know, and you tell a lot of truths about America, and then the song ends, I think, with you saying, I love America.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah. So we got to take another commercial break. Yeah, spiritual, and yes, that was the theme that kept running through the song. So we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back with more.
Promised her child to carry them through and give birth on that side in a dingy hotel on the north of the line. She gave birth to a boy and went into the light. High in the sky, stars are pointing
We're the Starlights, and you're watching the Valley Gold Show.
Wednesday, May 1st, to the Dior Performing Arts Center in downtown Youngstown, it's the Dionne Warwick Lou Rawls Tribute Concert. A dazzling concert of the timeless hits by Dionne Warwick and Lou Rawls, performed live by Debórah Benton and Leonard Julian with the Walt Barnes Jr. Band. Tickets on sale now at the Dior box office. One night only. The Dionne Warwick Lou Rawls Tribute Concert. One night only.
What's the lovely feeling?
We're just taking a little brief moment here on the Valley Gold Show. I just hate to pass up an opportunity. We've got a few more members from Kool The Gang. We've got Amir and Adil. So Amir, would you just tell the audience who you are, what you do, and then we'll kick it to you, Adil?
Okay, my name is Amir. I'm Kool and Khalis' younger brother.
You the baby?
Almost, well.
They don't make you feel like the baby though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but I play guitar in the group. I used to play keyboards in the group. Now I'm the guitar player in the group.
So what's your favorite instrument? Whatever they tell you.
You play
drums,
bass.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
drums. So did you do the paint can thing too?
I did
You
the
learned to
knuckle thing on the wood.
The knuckle thing on the wood. Wait a minute. Okay, now they explained to us the.
Sure.
I used to do that.
Is that kind of like ham bone?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So do you ham bone?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little? A lot of people have never seen ham bone.
Oh, can I ham bone?
Can you ham bone? You can't ham bone.
No.
Khalis
You know how to ham bone?
No.
Okay. Good. Oh, come on.
That's it.
Okay, and Adil?
Kool, Amir, and Khalis's cousin. Kool actually brought me into business. How old was I, Kool? 15? Driving trucks. Yeah, I started out driving trucks for Kool.
When did you get your license? 16?
Yeah. And, I kind of fell into the management side of it backwards when, we discovered Color Me Bad and then had some success with that and some other things, and then started working with them on the management side, and I've been doing that for a while now.
Let's see now. I remember you back in the day as
Yeah,
a bass
I played
player.
the drums. No, I played the drums.
Drums?
Yeah,
Drums?
I played
Okay.
the drums.
I remember he was an instrument.
Played the drums.
Okay.
Played the drums for a number of different groups here in Youngstown.
Yeah.
And that, and
Okay.
just doing that. Yeah.
So now you're in management and you play the, help me out again. See, somebody's getting old.
Guitar. Now.
Guitar. Well, that's because you confused me. You went from the knuckles.
Oh yeah.
Bass, drums.
Guitars for now.
So how long have you been with the group, each of you?
Wow.
Well, officially it was Ladies Night album.
Oh, yeah.
But they used to bring me in the studio to record on albums before that.
So now, were you like the pesky little brother saying, come on, let me do it, I can get in, or were
Yeah,
you just waiting for your time?
No, I used to make requests. Let me play on this song. I just hang around the studio, hang around Khalis all the time.
And so what were some of the earlier responses when you say, let me play?
Well, he used to make jokes about his brother Roy was in the group too. We used to play him songs. He'd say, well, what is that? So it kept
I need to fix that.
working hard and hard until he came up with something. He said, okay, this is a song. But before it was like, that's just a groove. And we'd think, we got something really great. Wait till Khalis hears it. But then he was like, what is that? So we finally got the message and the concept of what a real song is.
You had to really kind of get it into your system, what it was, to step up to that level.
So now we know how to write songs. So we've written stuff for other people. He and I work with Vanessa Williams, Freddie Jackson.
Okay.
Like I said, Color Me Bad, work with the Jackson family,
Oh, wow.
Jimmy Cliff.
Teddy Riley.
Teddy Riley.
Yeah,
A lot of people. He discovered Pink, the girl Pink. That's how.
Oh, really? In fact, I think one of you mentioned that. Yeah. So now, just act like they can't hear you, okay? You ever think about going out on your own? You got the mics. They don't.
Back in the day, I used to, we had another group we had started. Now, I'm leaning more towards behind the scenes stuff.
Is it more peaceful behind the scenes?
it's really exciting behind the scenes.
Really?
Plus, being with Kool in the Gang, that ain't a
Yeah,
bad
that's
a good job. That's a good job. Yeah. Can't be mad at that.
Adil, you really know how to stroke, don't you?
You know what I'm saying? You get to travel the world. And
Yeah.
it's nice,
Yeah, for real.
You know, if you can just share with us quickly one of the, and actually you don't have to rush, but something, one of the most meaningful things from each of you about, you know, being able to work in your family unit the way that you do for so many years.
Oh, wow. For me, it was when Kool brought me into business. You know, like I said, I think I was about 15 or 16, and I always wanted to go to the big city.
Okay.
You know, and Kool.
From Youngstown.
Yeah, and Kool convinced my mother. He said, "Don't worry, Aunt May. I'll take care of him. I'll look out for him." That night or the next morning, I was on a truck on my way to New York. Yep, and that was the beginning of my career in the actual business. You know, everything from that up to that point was mainly doing things around Youngstown local, but Kool actually brought me into the mainstream entertainment business, and then along with my cousin Khalis, he's always been there for me, and my cousin Amir. You know, we grew up close when we were a family here in Youngstown anyway, when we lived on Prospect.
Can you, because neither of you are mic'd right now, can you kind of lean forward and maybe tell us what it was you saw in Adil that made you, you know, pull him out and say, you can do this?
I saw a young man who had a great future.
Just hold it closer to
I mean, because he was always, you know, businesslike, and I felt that bringing him into New York, and I think at the time he started working with us and dealing with the transportation part of it, and we had a little crazy guy that was with him. That's another Bobby Benton. But they started driving the truck and handling the equipment, and then he just moved on to other areas, like you said. You know, got involved, you know, in the management, discovered with Color Me Bad and Pink, and really understanding the business. You know, you can send him in, and he can deal with these record companies, and rest assured that he's going to deliver what we're sending him in to do. So he's definitely a great person. He's definitely,
you know, one of the things that I enjoyed while we were trying to get you, because actually I started on this a few months ago, and that was whenever I had to call Adil, he was always so gracious, you know, and a lot of times people, especially if they're working under a lot of pressure and just got a lot of things to do, which I know you do, they can kind of be abrupt, or they can kind of get tired of the phone calls. But he was like, no, don't ever feel like you're bothering me. If you need to call back, you know, until we make this happen, and you all are here today. So Amir.
Answer the same question?
Yes, the same question. And just in case you need a refresher, what has it meant to you to be able to be part of such a wonderful family group?
It's meant a whole lot, but I would like to go into detail.
Sure.
Okay. There's another guy here that's not on camera. His name is Ibrahim. We had like a small little wannabe Kool The Gang type of group.
Okay.
And Adil and I and his brother Roy used to be in a group, but we were coming up in Jersey City, you know, and then they finally started a label called Gang Records, gave us a record deal. So that was our first entry into the business. But then, somewhere inside of that situation, a project that stuck out for me, it was an album called Everybody's Dancing, which was...
You gotta tell the name of the group, man, the KGs.
Yeah, our group was the KGs, and we had another group called Forecast. And Ibrahim, he's the tour manager, one of the tour managers from the group, along with Charles Stone. He was the sax player of the group. But another project that stuck out, there was an album, a Kool The Gang album called Everybody's Dancing. And for me, it was like, that was the first time I ever heard myself playing drums on anything. They let me play drums. I never even heard, I used to practice on drums, but never heard what I sounded like playing it, because I never like recorded on a cassette.
Wow.
So my first time ever hearing it was on a record. So that was something that stuck out. My first time playing bass on the album, which he's the bass player, he let me play bass on the song. And then Khalis let me play on a lot of, about 80% of the songs. So for me, it was like a special project, because I never
You never really knew what you had.
I never done that much studio work before. So that was like a special thing for me. Charles let me play drums. George let me play drums. Khalis let me play drums.
yeah.
He let me play drums.
Yeah.
I was playing drums everywhere. And then keyboards and guitars. And it was like, that was.
You know what's funny is he's saying they let me play drums as if you're like the baby brother who, ooh, can I play?
No, but he
but
can play
obviously, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Obviously, he must have really been bringing something wonderful to the table. And if we would rephrase it, they wanted you to play, and you're saying they let me play, and I think that's a beautiful, humble spirit, you know. But you guys just, tremendous family.
Oh, another thing, I used to always want to be in the studio, just hang around and just hang around. So if I wasn't there that day, I wouldn't be on the record. So it was fortunate that I was there. I said, okay, I'm going to get the play.
That taught you to stick around all the time.
Yeah.
So were your parents, did anybody ever hear this line, go out and get a real job?
No, I never heard that.
Now, you know, see, that's awesome. That's phenomenal, right there.
I never heard that. I never heard that. I never heard.
Support.
Never heard.
Never heard.
That's
through all of the
tremendous.
banging, the noise making.
Paint cans.
The only thing they ever said was, y'all gonna be something someday.
Yeah. That's the kind of.
And what they said actually came to pass. That's phenomenal. Well, I take my hat off to your parents. I had like I said, the privilege of actually seeing your dad on an occasion when they were actually doing something in an auditorium. They brought Muhammad Ali in, and it was a fundraiser
I remember that.
for muscular or MS, muscular cirrhosis. And of course, I've known your mom since I was a little kid. I just mentioned before when we were on break, sharpest lady in the projects. Okay, but this has really been an honor for me. I'm just so thrilled to have had you on the show. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the concert tonight. So that really is it for the Valley Gold Show. This has been my pleasure. Make sure that you go to your local record store, purchase the CD Still Kool, go online, purchase it, and until we see you again on the Valley Gold Show, that's it. Bye-bye.